On everybody, my name is LB the Realist, and this is Surrealistic Studios, where the real is surreal, and it gets more surreal each and every day we live. So, I know by now you guys have heard of Stephon Clark, 22 years old, shot by the police in Sacramento, California, in his grandparents' backyard. Initially, they were investigating somebody, I guess, breaking windows in the neighborhood, which led them to Mr. Clark, and they caught up with him in his grandparents' backyard where he was staying. They asked him to show them his hands. I guess, something happened. It was dark. I don't know if you guys have seen the video footage or not. I seen the footage. It was dark. I didn't even see him. They said, "Show me your hands. Gun, gun, gun." Not too much after that, they just shot him dead. I believe it was over 20 shots they fired. So we got that going on, and it's a fucking tragedy. Again, this thing is just prevalent in today's society. It just happens over and over and over again. But not 2 days after that, another man by the name of Danny Ray Thomas was actually shot and killed by police in Houston, Texas. And no weapon was found on either of these two gentlemen. So police have killed 264 people so far this year. Last year it was 1,147 people. So we're climbing that mountain. And honestly, I don't think that this is a black and a white issue. I don't think this is a race issue. So it's way beyond that at this point. It's a have and a have not issue. It's the people with all the money and all the power hiring regular people to go against other regular people. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to go ahead and read to you a little bit about Danny Ray Thomas. I know you guys have probably already, went through the motions with Stephon Clark, so I'm not going to do that here. I may do it on another video as I do more research on it, but I wanted to do this one on Danny Ray Thomas because it was interesting. Let's see, this is from Chronicle.com, Houston, or Chron.com. A Harris County deputy trying to break up a fight fatally shot an apparently unarmed man Thursday, who authorities said acted aggressively toward the officer and ignored his commands. The shooting occurred around 12:53 p.m. Thursday at Imperial Valley and Greens Road in Houston's greater Greenspoint area, according to the Harris County Sheriff's Office. The man, identified by his family members at the scene as Danny Ray Thomas, was wounded by a single gunshot fired by the deputy and died at the hospital, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said. The deputy was not injured, of course. Police had not released the shooting victim's name Thursday. I'm sorry, I'm blocking the camera. Police have not released the shooting victim's name Thursday night, but two family members at the scene identified him as Danny Ray Thomas. Public records confirm a man by the name lived on Greens Road. Family members also said he was the father of two young children who died in 2016 after their mother allegedly drowned them in a bathtub. Previous reports by the Houston Chronicle confirmed that man by that name was the children's father. A department spokesperson said Thomas had some object in his hand and referred any other questions to the Houston Police Department, which is investigating the shooting because it happened in city limits. "We have not recovered a weapon at this point," Sheriff's Office spokesperson Jason Spencer told the Chronicle late Thursday afternoon. The deputy was passing through the area when he saw two men in what appeared to be a verbal and physical altercation near the intersection, Gonzalez said. The deputy parked his vehicle and started to investigate, after which Thomas began acting erratic and behaved in an aggressive manner, the sheriff said. The deputy, who was in uniform, issued a verbal command, Gonzalez said, but Thomas continued to behave aggressively. The deputy attempted to retreat and the man continued to advance towards him, the sheriff said. The deputy fired his pistol one time, Gonzalez said. Family members said two of Thomas's children, Kayana Thomas, 5 years old, and O'Raylin Thomas, 7 years old, died in 2016 after their mother allegedly drowned them in a bathtub in their home in the 3rd Ward. The mother, Shabora Thomas, is awaiting trial for the capital murder charges filed against her. Marquetta Thomas, who said she was the victim's sister, said Thursday she had relied on her brother as they both struggled with depression. Now, this was interesting because in the Washington Post article that I read on this same story, they didn't say that they struggled with depression. They straight up called it mental illness. Just an interesting little factoid right there. She said that there is no justification for her brother's death. Knowing that he is okay when I woke up every day made me fine, she told reporters at the scene. And knowing that my brother is no longer here, you think I'm going to be fine? I'm not going to be fine. That's my brother. That's my flesh and blood, she said through tears. We've been through everything together. He had my back through everything. And he promised me he wouldn't leave me. And he didn't leave me. Somebody took him from me. So, again, that was from Chron.com in Houston. It's a fucking sad story. And I know that we had a similar case out here in San Diego County, in El Cajon City, where there was a mentally disabled man, I believe, that was acting erratically in the street. Cops came. His sister was the one who actually called the police, and she asked them to send help. Send somebody that can help him because he's been known to have mental illness or issue. They send the cops out there. They shoot him dead. So this is a huge fucking mental illness problem. But I think it's a bigger issue with mental illness on the police side than it is on the victim side. Why don't we have officers that are trained in or for these situations? And if we do, how come we never see the positive results of this? We always see the negative. Almost immediately they show up on scene and they shoot them. You know, and when they're black, I'm sorry to say, it just happens way more often. I know in 2017, the numbers were 25% of blacks were killed by police, and we account for 13% of the population. So, like I said, it's not a black versus white issue. I'm not trying to make that about this. I'm not trying to make this about that. But I am saying that we are 3 times more likely to be killed by police. And when officers show up to a scene like this, and they may deal with somebody who's not in their right mind or dealing with some kind of issue like that, their first instinct is not, hey, let me save this person. Hey, let me help this person. Their first instinct is always to shoot first. And they train these officers to shoot center mass and to get rid of the threat as soon as possible. That's hitting them center mass. That's called killing them. So we need to train them in de-escalation tactics. And that brings me to my next point. There are actually proven solutions that can help in these type situations. So I have some numbers and some proven solutions here, some policies that can be implemented in police departments that can reduce police killings. Now, this is from the useofforceproject.org, and I'll go ahead and leave that in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. How you guys doing? Pat, Ebon, AWA, I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate it. Hope you guys are doing well. So I'll just go through it here quickly, because whenever I have to report on a story like this, whenever I feel compelled to report on a story like this, I hate coming out here and just blaming the officer. I hate coming out here and just just yelling through a camera or yelling at my camera and just showing all of this emotion without really providing any sound solutions, without talking about what can be done. I mean, the biggest thing that can be done, obviously, is for police officers to stop murdering people. But let's get more scientific, okay? Let's break it down, all right? So they did a study at the Use of Force Project. They did a study, I think it was 95 police departments, and they found that of those police departments, the ones that implemented these specific policies that I'm about to read to you, they actually saw a decreased number of police killings. So when the police department requires officers to use all other means before shooting a suspect, they reduce police killings by 25%. When they require all use of force be reported, they reduce police killings by 25%. When they ban chokeholds and strangleholds, they reduce police killings by 22%. When they have a use of force continuum, they reduce police killings by 19%. And the use of force continuum, I found out, is how much force can be used against a resisting subject in any given situation. And they have an actual chart for that. that tells officers how to go about a certain situation. So when they require officers to use de-escalation tactics, they reduce police killings by 15%. When they have a duty to intervene if another officer uses excessive force, they reduce police killings by 9%. We have, way too often, police officers see their fellow officers committing these crimes or, going way too fucking far with how they're handling these situations. And nothing is said, because if they say anything, they go against their brothers, they're going to be shunned. And they might even possibly be in danger for going against this corrupt ass bullshit, fucked up system that we have, this police system. So let me just continue here. 2 more. When they restrict shooting at moving vehicles, they reduce police killings by 8%. When they require warnings before shooting, they reduce police killings by 5%. So imagine if they implemented all of these policies in all of our police departments. They would most certainly reduce the numbers of people being killed. It would reduce the mothers crying, the fathers crying, their sisters, brothers, family members, friends, co-workers, everyone being affected by these killings. So another thing that I've been thinking about that's always been in the back of my mind was community-led policing. And I know I first was introduced to that by Michael Wood when he was on the Jimmy Dore show, and they discussed it. I know they recently had some kind of, Twitter feud or falling out, and I don't know what's going on with that, but that's neither here nor there. I think he was on to some things. Some things he said, Michael, I kind of wasn't feeling, he has this thing where he wants to basically ban all semi-automatic weapons. Again, I'm not for that. I'm for some gun reform, but not just to ban semi-automatic weapons just because they can be used to kill people. That's another video, but just some things like that I just couldn't get with. But he had some other great ideas, like community-led policing, in which basically it's ran by a board of people in the community, and instead of the community having oversight over what the police are doing, we have direct say in how they are doing what they're doing. So we tell them how the fuck they're supposed to do their job, instead of them just doing the job and we just view it and there's nothing we can really do about it. So of course that's going to require work. It's not going to be an overnight thing, and there's going to be a massive force against it because they don't want the system to change. They like the system just the way it is. 99% of cases in 2015 did not result in any officers being indicted at all. That's just another fun factoid from mappingpoliceviolence.org. 99% of officers did not see indictments. They were not convicted of any crime. So people actually reviewed that case and determined in their minds that these officers did not just murder somebody on camera. That is the sad reality that we live in. The sad surreality that we live in. That's why I say where the real is surreal, because it's surreal that we live in a place like this. No other fucking country do we kill our citizens. Like no other fucking country do we have as many citizens in prison just rotting away. For what? Mostly for non-violent drug offenses or for bullshit. For bullshit. For the 13th Amendment. So, again, I think the biggest thing that we need to be aware of is accountability for our actions. Yes, we should have accountability as citizens when we are interacting with police officers. We should be mindful, respectful, and all of that. But when you have your hands up, when you're not doing anything, when you're unarmed and you're fearing for your life, what more do you want regular citizens to do? To not be killed by people that have weapons and all the power. You want to talk about gun reform? Let's talk about taking the guns away from these fucked up ass murderous police officers. Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about banning their weapons? That's a better idea. I think that's a exponentially better idea. If that even makes sense. But I just wanted to go ahead and speak on these issues because they need to be spoke on. And I know there's a lot of sides to this. There's a lot of, people trying to put the blame on the victim, even though he's not here to defend himself. There's a lot of people saying that, Stephon was a criminal. He was going around jacking people. He was a hustler. He was this and he was that. Whatever you think about the victim, you have to ask yourself, does what he did warrant him being killed in his place of residence? Breaking a car window, stealing a radio, allegedly, or whatever you think he may have done. Is any of that shit worth a life being taken? He had 2 small kids. Can you just, for one time in your life, just imagine yourself being in that situation? Being the person that's being taken away from your children, all because of a mistake that you may have made, may or may have not have made. What are we supposed to do to not be killed by police? When we have our hands up, when we tell them we have a gun on them, we have a gun on us, and we're licensed to carry that gun, by the way. When we try to provide the officer with the license, and they shoot us in our car with our girlfriend sitting right there and our baby in the back seat. What are we to do? I'm asking you, what are we to do? For all the people that are trying to condemn the victim, and for all the people that say we should just do what the officer says and we won't be killed, or that's what we get, or black people commit all the crime in the U.S. I've heard it all. I've heard all the excuses. I'm sick and tired of it. I understand that we do need to have logical conversations about this, but we actually have to think logically about it as well. What can the oppressed do to the oppressor? Yeah, we still want government to have all the power and control. At this point, does our government have the power and control, or does the corporation have the power and control? Or is it a mixture of both? I'm trying to rise up, Ebon. I saw you at that March for Our Lives, man, with the NRA hat. I was like, oh shit, here go Ebon. Starting shit. But I get it. We do need to have logical explanation. And I saw that lady attack you too, man. That was crazy. Yeah, I saw that. I don't, that's not right, man. That's a problem that we have on the liberal side too, is we feel justified when our feelings are hurt. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm just saying a large chunk. I guess it's not just liberals, it's everybody. We all think we're right, what I'm saying? We hardly ever think about the hypocritical shit that we do. What I'm saying? Like the lady attacking you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just felt so strongly about what she felt strongly about, that she felt justified in hitting you with the sign, or the person that snatched your hat off, or all that. So, yeah, Ebon has a channel. Pat, come on now. He got 2 or 3 channels. But I'm starting to veer off now. Again, I'm going to be reviewing this citizen-led policing to see what all goes into that, and how we can actually get that implemented, and also the policies that I outlined as well, because not all of our police officers are doing these things, and that leads to more people being killed. And it's just, what more can you really say? I'm speaking on it. I'm gonna do more research on the subject. I hope that the numbers go down. I hope that we really figure it out, because it's not a hard one to fucking figure out. Just stop murdering people. Stop having such an itchy trigger finger. And it's not a black and white thing. White people die by cops. There was the issue of Daniel Shaver. Daniel Shaver got shot down in 2016. The cops was telling him all kind of crazy shit. Put your hands up. Put your hands down. Put your right foot out. Take it out. Now spit it all around. Like, what the fuck, man? You better pick a struggle. Pick a struggle, man. Do you want me to put my hands up? Do you want me to put them down? I'm at the point now where I don't know what the fuck to do if I'm stopped by a cop. I mean, I may be good if I'm in my security uniform, because they, for the most part out here in San Diego, they see security and they leave me alone. They're like, okay, he's just a security guard. But can you just imagine if I wasn't in my security guard uniform, if I had my head on to the side and they seen little homie with his, you know what I'm saying? That's all they see. That's all they see. And you don't have to be black for them to see that. They see somebody without power, without money. They see somebody they can get over on. And they know that they won't be convicted. They won't face any kind of repercussions. That was another thing. Excuse me. That was another thing that Michael Wood said. He said that something about he doesn't believe that repercussions have any effect on the outcome of what police do. And I thought that was bullshit. I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So you're arguing that we shouldn't punish police officers? And even Jimmy Dore gave him a look like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You know? So some good ideas, some bad ideas, but we need to do something. I really do hope that there's a giant movement, just like the one for the guns, you know. And that's another video. I don't want to veer off again, because a lot of them people are really just trying to take all guns away, like Michael Wood. And I don't agree with that shit. I don't agree with that, not at all. But I do agree that we should do something, though. There's some people that they don't believe we should do anything about gun reform. They say, I had one person leave on one of my videos, recent videos, regulate privileges, not rights. I'm sure that sounds smart and all, but when you really dig deep, I mean, you have to regulate everything. We regulate free speech. We regulate the press. We regulate a whole bunch of shit. You know, I'm not saying we should take them away. I'm saying we should regulate them. And that's all. We need to regulate the motherfucking police. We need to regulate them. Because right now, they're running rampant. They're like a fucking disease. Yeah, they said regulate privileges, not rights. Because I gave the example of, I don't want to veer off too long, but I gave the example of, you know, drinking alcohol and having a gun because they raised the age. And I've been starting to do a little bit of thinking on that. Like, maybe that is unconstitutional. Even in the video, I was kind of iffy about it. But it just seemed like, okay, maybe it's a good thing to do, but maybe not. Like, I don't know. If the legal age is 18 to be an adult, then legally, I guess you should be able to carry a gun at 18. And then when I did the research on all of these shooters, where most of these shooters, that, you know, shot up the school, that shot up the church, most of these people were over the age of 21. You know, so what does raising the age limit from 18? It's not like we have a huge problem of 18 to 20-year-olds shooting places up. Not that I don't believe, because all the shooters that I researched, they were above 21. Yeah, you're right, Ebon. Yeah. Certain cities are worse than others. Yeah, you're right. And I've noticed a lot of these southern cities are real bad. Real bad. Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, and they did bring up the military exclusion. Like, if you're in the military or you're in the police, or you're in corrections or whatever, there is that exclusion if you want to buy guns if you're 18 or whatever and you're in that field. But you're right. I don't agree with, you know, if you're 18 you can go to fucking war but you can't have a drink. I don't agree with that. That's fucking stupid. That is fucking stupid, you know. At the core, I just want something meaningful to be done on all issues, on the issue of gun reform for regular civilians, on the issue of police brutality and police reform. I just want something to be done. You know, I want something logical to be done. I don't proclaim to know all the answers. I go to you guys to figure out a lot of this shit. You guys are way smarter than me on a lot of these issues. I just see things and I feel a certain way about it. Like, I feel that this needs to be done. I feel that something needs to be done. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave on this one. I didn't want to make it too long, but of course I always say that, and of course they always end up this long. So again, they haven't been letting me upload my videos on YouTube like I normally do. So I'm just gonna be rocking with the live until, I don't know, until it starts working again or whatever. But I'm hoping you guys are well. Ebon, Pat, Cheryl, Awa, I appreciate all of you guys. The police serve at the public's discretion. They need to be accountable. Yes, they fucking do. And on that note, I'll leave it with Pat Hacker's comment. The police serve at the public's discretion, and then they need to be accountable. They have to be held accountable. And right now, they're not. So remember to love, remember the peace, chicken grease, all that jazz, razzmatazz. Spread that enlightenment, and like this video if you like, share, subscribe, comment. Please comment. And please be well. If somebody pisses you off, just try to look the other way. Don't try to make a bad situation worse. You know, that's just me trying to make, trying to put some light out there. And, we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what you do with that, So on that note, I love you guys. See you on the next one.